See, I told you technology.
Okay, we're live. No pressure, no pressure. Okay, nobody say anything crazy. Okay. I'm just gonna refresh LinkedIn on here to make sure that you are live. So if you can see us, you're out here in the crowd and you're excited. Okay, hi Tiffany. Okay, we got some ladies on. Thank you. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, we're live on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, we're here. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Jasmine. Hi, sorry, LinkedIn user from I can't see you yet. Doesn't tell me your name. One second, I'm logging in so I can see everybody's names. But we're excited for today. Okay, so if you've been to one of my lives before, we start off with a little poll, start with a little welcome. All of my live streams are discussions. I think we're gonna have a lot of conversation. We might not get to the chat. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like we're really good. I feel like the four of us ladies are really just gonna get into it. But that being said, this is still a discussion. So please, add to the conversation. We're gonna react to what you're saying and thinking and all of those things. And today is really a discussion. Okay, we have some prompts and stuff, but something tells me, something tells me. Okay, we're not really going to stay on target to those. So those are good. So as I make sure we're all good tech issues and all of that stuff on LinkedIn, I have a little poll for you all. So I want to know what season you are in. So in the chat, and also our panelists are going to answer this. I did not give them a forewarning of this, but it's okay. But what season do you feel like you are in? Are you planting seeds? Are you growing? Are you harvesting? Or are you resting? So yeah, Nicole, just because clockwise you're first. Yeah, see, you should have joined early, okay? You should have tech issues like the rest of us.
Yikes. No pressure.
Okay, well, I think that for right now, I am definitely in my planting / reaping season. So lots of seeds in the soil and getting some harvest coming in and praying for a hot girl summer with this book. I'm just saying.
It's already done.
We needed with the book qualifier because I was like, what you out there doing, Nicole?
Okay, I'm sorry. If you don't know the book, Playing the Game While Black Women in Corporate America, on its way to New York Times bestseller list because we are claiming and we are receiving it. Yes, we are.
All right. We have in the chat growing, resting, planting. Okay, we have a variety. Okay. Jasmine says same here, Nicole. Okay. Patrice, you are next in the clockwise little, group.
So I'm in planting and harvesting at the same time. Yeah, I'm doing them both at the same time because I'm taking some. I know I'm taking some risks, but the risks I'm taking now are based on seeds I had planted before. And it's funny because I keep seeing like different things, like people playing with soil or like people with baby plants. And then I was watching this thing about this place in Jamaica, and they were talking about like the mango walk and the nutmeg walk. I was like, there's a nutmeg walk? Like, who knew? Like, like all different, like the smallest of things can be like a walk, right? And so I was like, oh, okay, I get you. I hear you. So, it keeps like when I keep trying to say, oh, it's not, I don't know what I'm doing. They're like, stop saying you don't know what you're doing. You're planting and harvesting at the same time. Because I'm quick to say, girl, I don't even know what I'm doing with all these articles. I don't know what I'm doing with these people. I will say that, but then it forces me to stop and be like, no, you are doing both. Two things can be true. So that's
we'd love to see a polite, loving, like, come on, get yourself together, girl.
Right. Stop saying that.
Gathering.
Stop saying that.
Okay, we got the Jamaican representation.
Okay. Say that real quick.
There we go.
Hey. Okay, Sharia. Okay. Yes.
Yes, for the mango walk and the nutmeg walk and all the walks. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I know y'all need to gather my Jamaican pride, okay? Because the way my generational trauma is set up, okay, we're not there. Maybe y'all can help me out.
At all. We're not giving you no Costco cargo either.
Oh my god! Right? That was one of my. I really zoomed in. I was like, I know. That's not.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, and Patrice, I just got a box full of mangoes from my mom, okay, imported. So I'm just saying, yes.
Why are you doing it?
I love this already.
Loving it.
Look, I will look. Just send me one. Just send me one. Just one. Just one, please.
I'm just saying. And I just did me a nice little mango salad with the cayenne and the lemon. Okay, let me not derail y'all. Y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna be quiet.
Come on now.
Wait, where do we get the Canadian flags from? We got different flags. I don't know where we're going.
They coming for us, y'all. They
Yeah,
coming for us.
I was like, are the girlies fighting in the chat now?
Oh Lord. The girls are
flag out, okay? All right, okay. Go ahead and get my foundational black flag out. That word. That's okay. That's fine. Hashtag Edenville, Florida. Okay, Natasha. I have not forgotten about you. What area? What phase are you in? So we've been talking. Got distracted. Planting seeds, harvesting, or resting.
Planting seeds, harvesting, or resting. Well, I know I saw growing in there. I think I'm growing and resting. I feel like a lot of my growth, though, is very spiritual and internal. I feel like I'm becoming more of the woman that I want to be, the more the goddess that I want to be.
Okay,
You know,
yes.
the one that doesn't necessarily hang her worth on awards and pats on the back and things like that. And rest. I'm a big, listen, y'all been hearing me all week. I take 2 sleeps.
Yay.
Naps. I like those. I'm about to start incorporating more of those.
Some people call them nappetizers. I take at least 2 nappetizers a day.
Yeah.
And because it's Caribbean American Heritage Month, I got a rep for the Trini. So
there you go.
Right? I saw all the Jamaican love, but I need the Trini to stand up for us because you already know the feud that we have with these folks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, be nice. Okay, this is about bringing together Black women. Wait a second.
Oh gosh.
Wait a minute. Okay.
It's competing love, though. It's love and competition, and it goes together. Like you know, you like spicy sweet.
We
you know,
grow, right? Yeah, it's a good competition. Healthy. We're growing together.
We go with it.
My roti beat your roti. That type of shit.
We all gonna eat though. We all gonna eat. We are all going to eat.
Okay, I'm ending the stream right now. I'm shutting it down. Not the shots fired.
Listen. Like I gets down with the Trini roti, okay? Ain't nobody arguing about the Trini roti, okay? Nobody at all.
I would eat any roti.
Okay, oxtail, curry goat, curry chicken, beef patty.
No discussion.
I get down with the Trini roti. That's all I'm saying. It's like, man, ouch.
I had a side quest with the Indian man for a while. I ate a lot of Indian roti. Okay, I don't discriminate,
All rotis matter.
I get it how I get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So my official and thank you. So if you haven't let us know in the chat yet whether you're planting seeds, growing, harvesting, or resting, let us know. I feel like I was like, oh, in January, I'm about to be harvesting. I'm doing all this stuff. Like I've been working up to this moment. And then I was like, wait, something don't feel like alignment. So if you know me, I'm always talking about what's in alignment. What do I want to do? How do I want to live life? And what's the perfect state for me. And so I feel like when I realized that, I was like, oh, wait, I think I got to plant some more seeds. Right. And I feel like very much I identify with you, Patrice, with kind of for that one. All right. So we've already gotten into it in more ways than one. But we're going to continue going into it. But before we do that, I really want to ask you all, ladies, if you are enjoying this, because I think you are. Okay, I already got some sense in the chat that you are. Go ahead and share this live. We want other Black women to get the vibes, right? We're gonna have a range. You already see us, right? So we're talking about serious things. We're talking about funny things. We're beefing in the chat with y'all, hey, Carla. Okay, and that's all.
Started the hashtag, y'all. All roti matters.
I'm not ready. Okay, I will never recover from that. I can't.
The t-shirts, the mugs, like all of the stuff.
Oh, the only time I'll take that hashtag. All right. Okay. I'll give it to you. But before we get into it, make sure you share this live. Like slide in your DMs. Repost this. Share this back out. I think this is really great place for us to engage and grow. And of course, we're going to continue some conversations after this too. So if you want your professional sister in love or in business to get this, go ahead and share it with us, and also continue to engage in the chat. But before we get started, some of y'all might know, you might know us, you might not know us. So each of us are going to do just a little bit of an overview of just who we are, backgrounds, however it feels. It's not super formal, right? We're super chill. And of course, I'm going to go in clockwise again. Nicole, maybe I should be nice and go counterclockwise.
Mix it up. Out of pressure.
After a while, I'm not going to know which way I'm going. But okay, so we'll start with Natasha. I'll be nice, and we'll let Natasha give her a little hello.
Hello, everyone. I am Natasha Wade. I am Natasha Wade, your Black Women's Soul Coach, where I help all Black women achieve their deepest soul desires in life, love, work, and play. I started off as a recruiter, and in 2020 ended up in what I call my second calling. My first calling is definitely helping Black women win. For everyone, just to be inclusive, for everyone who might have challenges seeing me because of blindness or limited vision, or maybe because you're dialing in via audio, I'm a Black woman of a lighter hue, long Black locks past my shoulders, red glasses, and I have on one of my favorite new shirts called Trust Black Women by sistersong.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised in Houston, like I said, I come from two immigrant parents from Trinidad and Tobago, and I love Black women. That's all I can say.
Period. I love Black women too.
Maybe that's crazy. Like, hey,
what am I supposed to say? I love Black women more. All right, let's go to Patrice.
So, hi everybody. I am Patrice Williams-Lindo, and I am the career nomad, and I just want to tell you, I'm one of those girls that I will take whatever is meant to be negative and turn it into something positive. And I was at these people's job, and while I thought it was all right and the money was okay and stuff, I was like, okay, well, us, Black girls, we want to get in and figure it out and climb and do all the things, and they wouldn't let us just to climb. And I had the papers. I was like, and all it took was one performance review where they were like, well, we just can't give you out of 1 to 5, a 5, because nobody's perfect. And I was like, well, 5 doesn't represent perfect. It means exceeding, right? It means going above and beyond, which I did. And my clients loved it. So it was just, our people, our WWs hating. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to walk off their job, but I am going to get a better job. And literally, once I did that, I began to job hop like every 18 months before people would say it was okay. And I was like, so I'm going to do it, run this bag up. And
get your coin.
And so then when I did it, I was like, well, wait, we're doing the same thing. It's just like Trinidad roti and Jamaica roti. It's all roti.
Oh, yes.
All roti matters.
Leave that in there.
Listen. All roti matters.
Absolutely.
So I was like, okay, look.
All roti matter.
Look, and then I was like, and I'm going to come back and tell everybody that looks like me, like, yo, don't stay on these people's job. Like, get there and find out what you got to find out and then move. Don't listen to these people that say be a lifer and don't leave. They full of shit. Excuse me. Oh, can we? I'm sorry. They full of poop. Sorry. Excuse me.
We can cuss.
They full of poop. They full of poop. Get your money, because I don't know a Black woman, working woman, that can't use money, right, with less stress. So that was how I started Career Nomad. I'm a natural disruptor where they let me in and I go in and I learn, and then I find out all the secrets, and I come back and tell all my girls, like, yo, this is what we got to do. And so now I'm working on these people's job and building Career Nomad. And so you'll see me post little things. It's usually like something that I see that I'm like, type thing. So I will post that, and literally just creating a safe space for us, because there are a lot of us that are well-heeled, well-educated, well-experienced, whatever the wells are. we have it. And then they try to play in our face. So I'm like, well, we gonna let them play to get that bag, but then the exit plan. What's your exit strategy? And we're gonna be whole. And we're gonna be whole. So we're not gonna come out and be like, sitting in the rubber room if we can help it. And if they play the wrong way, we're gonna call the EEOC and get that bag before we leave, type thing. So that's what I do with Career Nomad. I make trouble quietly but loudly. So that's me. And I'm from two Jamaican parents. Yes, two Jamaican parents. I have 3 college graduates that just graduated, and I've been married 36 years. And honey, I'm telling them, go to school, get that degree. Don't listen to that bull. Oh, I'm about to do it again. Don't listen to that craziness about don't get a degree, because that's the only way your mama know how to make money. So until you can figure out another way to make money, get that degree, and let's figure out the next steps. So that's why.
Okay, then. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Patricia, she said what you gotta say. Okay, and the I don't know if you can see the comments.
Listen,
somebody says, "Holy sis, keep going." I was like, I don't know about that, but it's fine.
Listen, let me say there were whores in the Bible, so we all right, girl.
Okay,
They
let's talk
in the
about the
Bible,
Old Testament.
child.
Okay,
We all right.
let's talk about the Old Testament. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, we do another time.
Oh my God.
Well, hold up. Before Nicole goes, I want everybody to know that I'm straight up cussing. So anything I say, anything that I say is not representative of Patrice, Nicole, ladies. I'm giving y'all my law and compliance statement right now. Everything that I say is representative of Natasha Wade, your Black woman soul coach.
Okay.
Life and career coach.
I don't have any content strikes. Go for it, ladies. We all get one. We all get one.
Bring the smoke to me. Call it SPC on me. Leave them other ones alone. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Look, I'm a ride on that. So look,
sounds like
we in the right spot.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like that's what
Y'all have me laughing so hard my earrings are falling out. Oh, by the way, I want my little pride earrings. Y'all see my little rainbows, okay? Okay, Tiffany.
We can code switch it in a minute so that they won't know what the hell we're saying anyway. And then we can be like, what did you say that?
Okay.
I didn't say that. Who said that? That wasn't me.
That wasn't me. Y'all saw that trend? Oh my gosh. It wasn't me. Who said that? All right, Nicole. These are going to be the longest introductions of
Come on, Nicole. Bring it home.
Too much pressure. Okay.
Come on, Scotch Bonnet.
Listen.
Oh, Scotch Bonnet.
What just happened? Did I just catch a stray when I was talking?
I just said Scotch Bonnet. I love Scotch Bonnet.
Cream stray.
Me?
No. I'm sorry. I don't know who that was. I'm sorry. That was a microaggression or macroaggression.
Oh, okay. It was a macroaggression that sometimes I hear. Sometimes they're deserved.
The shade. Hello, everyone. My
name
is S. Palmer.
See, somebody also co-signed the macroaggressions in the chat. You and Ruby, I'm rocking with you, Ruby.
Thank you. I mean, hello. Hey, y'all. So my name is Nicole S. Palmer, best-selling author of Playing the Game While Black Women in Corporate America, on its way to the New York Times bestseller list. Yes, ma'am. Thanks to the 92% that never fails. Yes. Period. Okay. Yes. That's first and foremost. Also the creator of Black Women in Corporate America, which inspires the podcast. In case you don't know, 5-star rated everywhere. It is on YouTube, Spotify, all of the places. Who am I? A Jamaican born. Also known as Scotch Bonnet, in case you don't know. Go look up some of them hashtags. They're fun on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm bringing a little spice. Yeah. Little something fun, little something spicy. Mostly spicy, probably. Yeah. But it's okay. So if you don't follow me yet, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me really all the places. Just look for Nicole S. Palmer. The S is important. There's a lot of Nicoles out there. There's a lot of Nicole Palmers. There's only one Nicole S. Palmer. Okay? Period, point blank. And that's also the name of my website. So check it out, okay? Support a sister, because I'm on my way. Like, really, for real.
We knew you now and then.
Yeah. And then y'all can sell your books. Well, don't sell them, but buy you a second one and then sell the old one for a lot of money on eBay. Do they still have eBay? Am I showing my age? Okay, that's what I got.
Not the eBay. Listen, eBay is where I go where I mess around and let something sell out. And that's the only thing that works for this. You see this hair over here? eBay. I find it on eBay. They say it's all. Okay. Soon I'll be on Craigslist, okay? Because there's only one. There's only one.
Craigslist
there's
is
only one he protecting that works in his hair, okay?
Oh wow.
They still got jobs out there, y'all. I'll find you some jobs on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Listen, I live in Florida, okay? Okay. The only thing that you hear in Florida and Craigslist is never good. Okay? Oh, sorry.
Is that where Florida man goes?
Whoopsie.
Sorry, I might have cut somebody off when they were scanning the QR code. Go ahead and get your survival guide, okay? Okay. All right. Last and finally not least, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. Let me stop talking trash. Hello, my name is Mercedes Swan. I'm the Career Love Coach, the founder of the Career Love Community. Okay, it's a place for Black women to come together, have discussions,
yes,
achieve their goals, right? All things career, business, lifestyle. That is where it's at. Okay, so there's QR code here. I have two versions of the Career Love Community, a free version and a paid version where you get to work with me a little bit more. Okay, so there it is, and we're continuing this conversation there. So you don't have to scan it right now, but definitely make sure you join after this live. Okay,
we are all in there, y'all.
Period. We in there. Okay, we're going off. Okay, we're gonna have some fun. And I just love this community. And I think this conversation, sapiens. this conversation is an extension of that. And I'm really just so blessed and just excited for this group. No, okay, we're taking the earrings off. I'm done. I'm sorry. So thank you. Let me get all mushy, but I'm really excited for this conversation. Thank you for being here. I hope that you join me in the community. My background, I come from human resources. Okay, I was cutting up. Okay, I was cutting up as a token Black woman in HR, and then I was like, you know what? This is not enough violence. I haven't chosen enough violence, so I'm going to go do DEI. Right? Okay. I was like, yeah, let's tear it up. Okay. We're gonna have these conversations today because I know so many of us have been in that space and just trying to pave the way, right, while also being sane. So we're talking about some of that today. And I think this is a really great segue into our discussions. Okay, so we have some prompts, and let me make sure we can see everybody's faces. And so we have 5 questions. We'll see how we do. Okay, because we've been talking. Okay. But I know for most of us, right, this is called the address for a reason, right? Black women, we have been dealing with a lot, right? A lot of emotions, a lot of anxieties, and I mean a lot of great wins. Like somebody was like, how is it so bad out here? But like it seems like Black people are winning just all year. And I was like, you know what? We'll take it. Okay, we'll take what we get. We'll take what you get. But for some of us, the well-being and staying hopeful and motivated and being in community has just been something that is needed and has also been really impactful, I would say, for me, right? Me being surrounded by the amazing Black women that I have been surrounded by has absolutely been keeping me safe, sane, and moving forward. And so with that in mind, like, how have you been feeling and what have you been doing to support your well-being in this time? And I'll start with Patrice this time to be fair and equitable and pretend that I earned my DEI chops, okay?
Oh my goodness. What have I been doing? So number one, things like this, right? Where literally I was now, what is it, Nicole, 3 weeks ago on LinkedIn on a Saturday morning, and I saw a post. No, Natasha, you posted it. You posted about
violence that morning. She chose violence, and we loved it. We loved
and I was like, and I literally like stormed through that book in like 3 hours. I put it on like 2 times on Audible, and I've listened to it like 5 more times since then. And so I've been following used to call them impulses, but now I know they're intuitive nudges, right? Because at first I would try to like plan everything out, whether it was work or the kids or whatever. But literally now, especially when I'm not working, I kind of let my nose, lead me, right? And so this particular Saturday, I thought I was getting up to post something. But then when I saw Natasha's post, and then I started reading the book, and then one thing after the other, Nicole actually came and shared about her book with my community. I've been telling everybody I can about the book. Then this came up, and then, Career Nomad Noir has been blooming. I mean, so I'm literally just doing what I want to do.
Period.
Why see people job, right? So like balancing that out, right? What does that look like? And so that's where I am. That's where I am.
Period. I love it. I love all the kids because when I scheduled this, I was like, I think we've all been
like orbiting each other, right?
All over the place. Let's go ahead and do this for real. Okay,
yeah.
So it's been really fun.
Which is not scheduled. It's not rehearsed. At least not for us, right? It's not scheduled. It just shows up, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna keep saying yes, especially when it feels good. Because there's a lot of stuff we have to say yes to. We're like, well, dang, why am I here?
Like life, I mean, in general, life is short, but like life is too chaotic right now. Okay, like we don't know what the world's gonna look like tomorrow. Okay,
come on, for real.
Boo went out and got some toilet paper. Okay, he said.
Yep. For real though, that's true. That's really true.
We don't know, so you gotta why spend time doing anything that you don't want to do?
Nicole, they asked you to post a book link.
Oh, I can do that.
So you have to post it on LinkedIn.
Yep.
So one of the things I see the girlies are over here doing their LinkedIn automations, right? Okay, I know more than one of us on this call doing that. Y'all will get an email. Y'all will get a LinkedIn DM with the stuff as long as you're connected with me, okay? Because I got to get on the tablet to do it, okay? LinkedIn. So I will make sure y'all have all the links to join all of the things and get the book, right? Because Nicole has some goals, okay? We're trying to get her to that book sale goal, okay? You will get the link, okay?
Yes, 100% will get the link. But if you're excited and want to do it now, just my full name.com, NicoleSPalmer.com. Really easy.
There we go. Okay, I'll put the QR code up and see.
And make sure to join the book club.
Come on.
Yes, we got a whole book club. How do we not mention? We'll get to that later.
Yes,
we'll get
the club. It's the club. It's not the book club. It's the club. Okay. You gotta say we're like a couple
down.
And I will tell you one more thing that I'm doing. I'm only connecting with women that look like us on LinkedIn. Do you know it's a bunch of us on there?
Oh, we're busy. That's right.
I was like, and all them other people that come to me, I'll be like, no.
They're just in there. I got 100. I'm not even gonna call myself. I got like 100 something connection requests in there. I was like,
no.
We're good. We're good.
No.
And then my other thing is like, did you have any like social justice posts lately?
I know, right?
Talking about any social issues that I find important. Delete.
So all the people say, well, black women not the only one, or the black man that's like, well, black men too. I'll be like, block.
You know what? I'm tired.
Block. And look, there are a few of us that say, how do you know it's 91% that got left off the jobs report? Can I see the report? Half a block. You two, like, block. I'm not even
we all had that one man. We're not gonna say his name. That one man on there. I said, not dealing with this. He always does this.
I think I'm special because I finally got a taste. So I just
you made it on Black women talking about their ish on LinkedIn when that man is in your comment section. I was like, you know what, this is a rite of passage, Nicole. It's okay.
So I'm only saying yes to us, whoever this tribe is right here. And I'm gonna feel you out and be like, Miss Spirit, and I'll take to you. No.
Honestly, in the club, that's right.
Okay, that's how it's the club.
In the
got
club.
advertisers, we got beverages,
in the club, we are not all friends.
Yep. Oh.
My TikTok that went viral was like, in the club, we not friends. The club, we can go to brunch. The club, the cookout club is closed.
Yep. It ain't for everybody.
But I'm gonna jump in there before we keep going around the list, because I think what you were saying, Patrice, about like just feeling like that closed off energy is very much how I was feeling, because as somebody who's worked, my entire career, whether that's human resources or when I moved into my DEI pivot, I was like, no, we're all together. Anybody watch Sinners? We're all together. I don't know what he said.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all together. And I was like, I really felt like for the first time from November to now, I was like, no, I don't want to be all together.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm going full time in my business, so I really don't have. I don't have to see y'all at all.
Yeah. And you don't have the capacity probably either.
Well, there's that. But you know, it was crazy work for me, like truly crazy, and I'm trying to actually, I should say, wild work for me. I'm trying to pull the crazy out of my vocabulary. But that being said, it was wild work for me when after my like the day after the election, I was like, oh, let me go. I was scheduled to do some DEI training. And that energy just like continued on, where I was having conversations where people were not understanding about this dynamic. And we were, in that case, we were just talking about in general, like the impact of single moms on housing, and why it's not a fair, why it's not a fair playing ground. Why is that? Because women couldn't do nothing without a man until the 70s. That's why I don't understand why this is the issue that we're having, why we're talking about this, and especially that you're in my class, and I got to talk about this the day after we elected a mediocre white man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't hear this. Okay, I'm
Mediocreist.
Mediocreist. Mediocre. Criminally mediocre, one might say. And so I was actually dealing with a lot of disillusionment when I was like, you know what? It feels not aligned for that was weird for me, right? To feel like I'm like, actually, I just got to be about me. I just got to be about the Black community. I just got to be about Black women right now. And that was such like an unsettling thing for me to be like okay with that, because that was never something that I would have been okay with. And so when I talk about like the well-being and like dealing with all those emotions and feelings, I had to find like the peace in like the community of that and be okay with that. And so I would say that that has been a major shift for me since January. Like, of course, I was already a career coach for Black women, right? So, but it was just like, okay, you trying to radicalize me? Fine. You say no more. I'm done. I'm done.
Say less, honey.
You say less, exactly. You say less, actually. Don't say nothing.
Right.
So, Nicole and Natasha, the ladies with the first initial M's, can fight over who goes next. I'm just kidding. Nicole.
She already came for me with the whole roti thing. I'm just saying.
Hunger Games. Black girl Hunger Games.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I'll be the bigger person. You can go first.
Yeah. Can you restate the question? Because I feel like
I know we've just been all over.
Question right out of my head. Go ahead.
It's been a whirlwind for the last 6 months. How have you been feeling, and what are you doing to support your well-being?
I feel like we've been in a whirlwind since 2020, to be honest. Like I don't know if I've necessarily like I felt, there's been maybe some peaks, obviously, since the election that obviously opened up some things, but I feel like we've been in a tornado since 2020. That's what it feels like to me, right? So I think I've gotten really good at curating my world and being very intentional about everything that I do. So going back to what Patrice said, like I always joke with people that my social media feed, feel like my social media feed is juice and berries. Nothing is on my timeline, or nothing is on my feed that doesn't feed my spirit, that doesn't pour into me. It's all about growth. It's all about spirit. It's all about development. It's all about sisterhood. I deleted the shade room. I removed all of those accounts that are designed, I think, to create chaos and I think enmity between Black folks. I took that off. When it comes to my morning, people, like we joke all the time, me and Nicole are up. I'm usually up at about 4 a.m. at the latest, whatever. But that's because like the world doesn't wake up until a certain time. So anybody who's up at that time knows that everybody's asleep. The dogs are asleep. It's very quiet. That's like a Zen moment for you to just have just a little bit of time to yourself before the world wakes up and starts bugging you and pinging you and all this other stuff. And then most importantly, because I'm an empath and because I'm a people person, I make sure that I make sure I'm in good company with Black women, primarily, that believe in sisterhood. Notice I didn't say all Black women. I said Black women.
Come on.
Don't get Nicole started.
Rule number 4. Okay. Let me be quiet.
Black women that I know that embody sacred, beautiful, empathic, empathetic sisterhood. That is who I'm in community with.
Yeah.
And ever since then, like the world could turn over tomorrow, but I'm good. You know, I'm at peace.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, I mean, I know we're, like I said, we're all connected, you know, in different ways, shapes, or form just because of the work. But I think so much of us are just like community. Yeah. And I think this is why this conversation is so important. Scotch bonnet.
Can I add something? Sorry, just 1 second before you say that.
Yes.
It's funny we say community, but it's selective community. It's selective community, like we selected this community. I think, Natasha, you hit the nail on the head when you said that, because I still don't, my social battery is like, but with y'all, it's like, okay, let's go. So I used to think that my social battery was this for everybody, and that's not true. It's that when you're not in the right group, whether it's family, friends, work, it's finding the right group and being courageous enough to find the right group. Because that feels scary too, when you've been used to just having people around, even if it's people that weren't necessarily the ones that you needed to be around.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scotchy.
God.
It's been an interesting journey for me because I think for the most part, I would say that I woke up really at the beginning of this year when I decided to stop playing it safe. I've been in corporate for forever, still in corporate, but I just don't give a shit anymore. And for the most part, if you come in my corner, this is my corner of the internet. So, you know, you come here at your own peril. Like, I don't fraternize with my coworkers, and that has been the biggest blessing ever for me. And not because I'm, you know, stuck up or anything. It's just because I made a decision after the last job that tried to take me out. I made a decision that I was only going to move a certain way in corporate America. So I specifically picked a role that I could serve as a consultant, still getting the bag on a salary, to be clear. But I just don't, we're not friends. I'm here to get the money, and I'm here to sign out at 5 p.m. And so that has been really freeing for me, because I definitely felt that when I was at my previous role, which only ended recently. That's what's crazy about it. It's only like my 1 year anniversary was February of this year. So it's barely been 2 years, but I made a promise to myself that I just wasn't gonna allow any place that I worked to police me in that way. I wasn't gonna like make myself shrink myself because I was afraid of what they would think if they saw what I posted on social media tomorrow or in a couple of hours. Like, I'm just not about that life. Like, I'm about this life right now. And if you've seen my posts, like, I post what is on my heart. I'm equal opportunity. If you trifling in black, you gonna get it. If you trifling in white, you gonna get it. If you're trifling in purple, you gonna get it. Like, it just don't matter.
You gonna get it.
Everybody gonna get it. Everybody.
Like,
come on.
And so, but, you know, I think that what's really really powerful about that is that I made some fantastic connections. I've talked to other Black women that don't have the freedom to speak up that way because of their current situation. And so they're kind of like living vicariously through me, because I'm just like, I just say what I want to say. And if you don't like it, the unfollow's right there. Like, it's right there. Like,
no, go a step further and block me. Go ahead and block me. Block me.
Like why are you here? Like, why are you here? Like, and this is the other thing too, is that, you know, when I made the decision to change my headline, which starts with creator of Black women in corporate America, I'm just like, if you see that and you're still trying to follow me, and then you're confused by the stuff I post on here, why are you?
That's a you problem.
Like, that's 100% a you problem.
Yeah.
So I'm just leaning into being who I am and owning that, and being more courageous. And that has been a different era for me as well. Like, all of you ladies, we haven't even been a year in, and we talk like we've been knowing each other for forever. But
in
that's
the trenches
that soul
together.
connection. Like, that's just what it is. Like, but the thing that I realize is that when you allow yourself to be who you are, game recognized game. So you're gonna keep that connection, that soul connection, real quick. And so even though I was terrified when I reached out to Natasha, and that's going to be a whole other episode, so we're not going to spill the beans. We're going to talk about that later. But the point is that sometimes you just got to do stuff afraid, and the most beautiful things happen out of that. You know, I reached out to Mercedes, like this, all of the what you see here right now, ladies, was just because we each took a chance. We each stepped outside and said, my spirit is telling me this is what I need to do. I might sound crazy, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, I might sound out of pocket. You're right. I'm gonna take the C word out of the equation. Maybe I might seem a little forward, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. And out of that is what you have here today. You have 4 kick-ass Black women that are gonna tell it like it is, and we aren't taking no prisoners. Okay, like we done with that. We off that. We just off that. I'm just saying. And so that in itself, it rejuvenates me because I'm able to be a version of myself that I just wasn't able to be before. And I like this version of myself, and I'm accepting of this version of myself. And it took me a hell of a long time to get here. So I ain't going back. I'm just saying.
We're not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. Okay, sorry. I really wanted to call out like one of my insights. So if you're listening to this too, like drop those insights in the chat. I know we're talking, but like I think one of the most affirming ways that we can truly like take care of our own well-being is to be authentic, right? I think that kills so much of who we are, our joy, our Black woman bliss, alignment, right? By not just by being silent. I'm not saying that we have all we have control, right, of every situation and how we show up. But honestly, in my last career pivot before I was like, bye, we're just full time, is I was like, I'm not going to mask anymore. I'm not going to mask the ADHD anymore. I'm just going to show up and, we'll see how it goes, right? Like, the always the fear is like, oh my gosh, they're going to feel like I'm forgetful and I don't care and I'm not detail oriented and blah, blah, blah. And all along that was unaliving me. Okay. I was on depression, anti-anxiety medication because of that. Right. And so it's like, yeah, being your authentic self is sometimes one of the best ways that you can take care of yourself, even if everything else ain't all right. So yeah.
Well, can I jump in on that real quick, Mercedes, and just say, I agree with all of you. I think it took me a long time to get here. As a matter of fact, it took me probably 20, 25 years to get here because I'm 44. And in my 20s, I was scared shitless to be authentic and to speak up because I didn't know myself and I was honestly afraid of losing my job. And so I say all that to say, I think this is also another area where empowered, sort of close, intimate sisterhood really makes a difference, especially when you're in community with Black women who believe in financial liberation, maybe even entrepreneurship, or at least helping you find a place or have a plan to get to that authenticity over time. Because I tell people all the time, yeah, I'm authentic, but I also have I have an authentic emergency account. Like if these people were to fire me tomorrow, I have an account that will stretch me, that where I won't panic immediately, right? And so I'm saying all that to at least acknowledge my privilege and understand that there are people on the front lines that do not have the financial means and resources, and frankly haven't progressed. I wouldn't say progressed, but they haven't necessarily gotten to that place internally where they feel that empowered and confident to do that because of their circumstances. It's not because they don't want to, it's because shit, we got bills to pay. We're still in a capitalist society.
Yeah. And to, in fact, just to piggyback on that, and for anyone who's thinking like, dang, like I'm 45. I just found myself this year really fully. Like once I wrote the book, it was one thing. But once I put it out there, once I recognized that this is something I need to share with the world, that's when I stepped into my own. So don't ever feel like you're like, dang, there's no way. I am 100% 45 in my big old age. I'm just like, I'm figuring it out. Like, yeah, this is how I want to show up. This is, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. Y'all, trying to be somebody else is exhausting. I don't know if y'all know that, but it's like 100% exhausting. Trying to be me is exhausting by itself. I can't imagine trying to be me plus somebody else. That's just too much work. Like, that's just entirely too much work. And so what I just, decided is like, be yourself. The people who are meant for you are going to find you. But if they find a version that is not who you are, they ain't really found you. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, we're not getting to no more questions. Yes.
Well, I just want to speak of the wholeness of it all because I'm the elder in the room. Girl, how the hell they did that? I'm 52.
And look 20.
I'll be 53.
Don't crack.
Come on, no
Wait.
When I lose this weight, I'm gonna be naked.
The skincare routine. Drop the eating routine. What are you doing?
Over here flexing on us like that.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. As I stepped into like a few things, so as I found my voice at work, I found my voice at home. I found comfort like in my size, in my color, in my agency, everywhere. And while I loved it and I'm loving it, I think what we also have to, at least for me, let me speak from my perspective, have to tell the truth about is that what you do one place, you do everywhere. So old Patrice, like you said, Natasha, the 20-year-old Patrice that was scared that, I can't get these people job. I'm not going to get married. Who says I can have, like all the things, right, that you're supposed to want. And then when you start checking the boxes and you do those things, like you get this great job and you're like, well, this job really ain't great. And I don't know if this marriage stuff and these babies, like I'm doing everything they said, but, then you start shaping it into what that looks like. The old version of you doesn't fit, right? And so you get versions of me like, baby, Natasha, you're talking about people can get it? Baby, my mother-in-law gets it when she plays. Like she is 52 and what you not finna do, this is where I become Black American Patrice, but the Jamaican version.
Okay.
Like when my mom plays with her boundaries, so I break all the rules, right? Not just the work rules. I break the cultural rules that don't serve me. I break the traditional rules that don't serve me because what I do in one place, because the masking, we talk about masking at work, but what you may not have thought about yet is that you mask typically everywhere, right? So who is that aunt that's coming in and saying, boy, you're fucking life wasn't good. Those people. You know what I mean? Or the ones like, well, dang, you have 3 kids. Like, are you trying to start a basketball team? All I'm saying is that, so now they can try it, but they gonna get it if they try it. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to be ready for that too, because people have been used to you one way, and not that you're living for people, but like when you dealt with it and you begin to evolve, you will start doing it everywhere. And that can be, like at times I'd be like, girl, you did that. Look, but I just cussed somebody out. You know what I mean? But when I say that, it's not joy from cursing them out. It's joy from having my voice heard. And it didn't matter that they were going to be upset or whatever. I'm okay. Or walking away. Right? That's the other thing. Right? So just figuring out what your power looks like in different spaces has been, well, number one, it's been as long as perimenopause had been till I had that hysterectomy, which was years. Because you don't know you in it, right? Until like you get to the hysterectomy and you're like, well, dang, I've been in perimenopause for 10 years. I didn't even know. That's what these bad things are like. And so when you wake up, like you can't put the genie back in the bottle. So that's a good thing. But I want to say that out loud. It's not just, the work and the outside. It's also inside and relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And to the LinkedIn user, because I saw somebody said that they still haven't figured it out. Just to be clear, yes, we own who we are and our power, but this is a daily practice. So to be clear, like tomorrow I could wake up and be like, I'm gonna crawl under the bed and I'm just gonna stay there because I am not like feeling myself at all. So, and sometimes it's like minute by minute, second by second, like Natasha, like when I texted her earlier today, like sometimes it just is that way. But what you have to recognize is that it's about a practice. And I think, Patrice, you might have said this, it's a muscle, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
you have to do this daily. It's like sometimes moment by moment, sometimes it's second by second. Like I don't always have it together. Like just because we sit, like none of us have arrived. None of us have arrived. It is 100% a daily practice. It's just that some days we are more on than others. And some days you be like, oh, yes, everybody can get it today because I know who I am. And tomorrow you be like, who my name is again?
Right. Right. Which is
Like,
another reason why community is important, because they will stand in the gap and remind you, like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like going back to what you said, Patrice, about, you know, you being one place, like you being inauthentic in your workplace translates to personal. If you have sisters and people around you where you can't, if I can't go to Nicole and say, Nicole, what you said to me the other day hurt me. It hurt what you said, and I want to talk through it. And if we can't have a mature, emotionally intelligent conversation, that's bullshit on top of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm dealing with bullshit at work, and now I'm dealing with bullshit in friendships, and I got a bullshit cap. So some of us are exhausted because we keep piling on bullshit on top of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already deal with it at work. At least find yourself some sisters that know how to say stuff like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. This is how I'm going to fix it in the future. You know what? I thought about what I said to you the other day. That was insensitive. Find you some people that see you and that hear you and that feel you.
Yes. Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, find you some of these right here. Like, like 100%. Like, and you gonna know it quick. That's the other thing too. Like, don't ignore the flags, y'all. Like, I just like we did a whole podcast episode the other day on this. Stop ignoring the flags, please. Stop letting people overstay their welcome. Y'all know who they are. Y'all know who they are. Like, all of y'all know who they are.
Well, that just
you know who it is. You better delete that number. Throw away the phone if you have to. I'm just saying.
Agreed. My favorite quote is "Believe them the first time."
Come on.
Okay, first.
And don't let people gaslight you into, but that's your longtime friend, or that's your, that job is too good, girl. Listen.
I'm telling y'all, like, y'all know what they say about Scorpios, okay? Whether you into
present.
I'm a Scorpio. I will cut you.
Present.
Wait a minute. Wait.
We're not gonna do this here.
Shut up.
We're not
October 27th. When's your birthday? October 27th.
Halloween.
25th.
Oh, where the Sagittarius is at?
Oh my God!
Now let me go get my mama for the next one, okay? Because
wow.
Now I knew it was too much of that was spicy.
That's why.
Now we know.
That's why.
Where the December babies at?
I
Come on, I'm saying. I'm by myself. Y'all gonna leave me out here.
Wait, what is it? I can't remember.
Yes.
Girl, we don't ever remember y'all because Christmas be eclipsing y'all birthdays.
What birthday?
My birthday is December 11th, first and foremost. So I always get me 2 presents. Okay, to be very clear. Okay, so rude.
Y'all be messing up my whole holiday. Y'all be messing up my whole holiday talking about let's have a birthday party and Christmas right around the corner. Get out of here.
Is it a Christmas gift?
It's not the same thing. Okay, it's not the same thing. My birthday is 2 weeks away from Christmas. That is a whole separate event.
I mean, it's already decorated. You know, the house is already decorated. You're already in the vibe. Just move the birthday.
I have a December 13th
baby. Birthday? How dare you?
Is this a Gemini June birthday? Because see, the way I'm set up with Gemini.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
Okay, got one June baby.
Don't leave me hanging here. Where my other December babies at? Where y'all at? Come on.
Okay, we got.
Oh Lord.
Okay, we got another Leo. Okay, we're now gonna move into breakout rooms based on horoscope.
I know, right?
Okay.
Oh goodness.
You got somebody now. You got Stephanie. You'll be all right.
All right. Anybody a manifesting generator?
Oh no, here we go. Because Nicole, we went
Say
on a
what
whole
now?
thing.
Is
We went on a whole
anybody
thing
a
a couple weeks
manifesting
ago.
generator?
Yes, like
I need to
90%.
find out if I
That's a
am.
good tip. Okay, well, we're gonna do a human design session after
Yes,
this.
yes.
Anyway, if you enjoy horoscopes and things like that, you will also enjoy human design. So go ahead and look that up. We had a conference. My last one of the was it Black Women Brilliance, because we were talking about different, our different dynamics and our expertise and different things like that. So yeah, if you love it,
I love it.
love to see it. Yes, manifesting generators unite. Anyway, so y'all go ahead and do that. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the job market. Y'all still good on time? Y'all still good on time?
I'm good
We
on
gave you
time.
the sweet and the fun. Now we're gonna get into the trash.
Yeah,
I
that's just the foundation.
It is some trash. It's rough out here, but I feel like so much of us have taken this in an empowering way. So we'll hold space for both of those things, right? But a lot of the things that I think all of us has talked about content or just different dynamics of that, of the insane amount of Black women that have lost jobs. And that number for April went pretty viral in terms of the Black women on LinkedIn talking about it. But if you look at it, I mean, it's been that way since the beginning of the year. And we've seen, I talk a lot about, like, where do Black women really find their safe places in the workplace? And a lot of these places were really targeted, right? It's places like government, and they're places like nonprofit. Well, some say, but that being said, right, there are these spaces where Black women, I feel like we are generally more highly represented, that became the target of a lot of these places where there were layoffs and we were not safe. And so, layoffs and all of the changes in legislation, I think, have really impacted Black women. And we see that unemployment rate, unfortunately, continues to increase and at an exponentially higher amount than our counterparts. So that being said, we know that's the case. we already know that. And so the question now becomes, what are we not talking about enough when it comes to layoffs and Black women and this current job market? And what should we be talking about right now?
So I think the short and the long term, because yes, immediately, for example, the checks stop and, we may not have, like you said, Natasha, that, what did you say, get out of jail fund? What was the fund?
Authenticity fund.
Right.
We all have different names for it. Mine is the FAFO fund. So I love that we all have different names, but yes.
Listen, right?
Any minute.
And so is that, down the road, right? Yes, like you can hopefully, let's just say you get a job, but let's say you're out of a job for a year, for example. What happens to your health benefits? What happens to just a lot of things that down the road, it's like, I remember there was a period now about 15 years ago when I didn't have health benefits. My husband and I were both laid off, and I ended up with an abscess with no benefits. And the resolution was to take my tooth out, not fix it, like if I had benefits, right? And so you do what you have to do. And then down the road, like I'm 53 with a gap on the side. And I mean, that's cosmetic, right? But it's not, because if you have an abscess, that's an infection, for example. So that's just one thing. And thankfully, we're not there now, but there's some level of that or potential, for some level of that happening. And not just when it comes to healthcare, but things like that dip into a couple of different areas, right? So you can solve the problem for now. And for example, get your, meds and take the tooth out, but now my teeth are shifting.
Yeah.
And that, where does that happen in other areas, right? So if you don't have a job and you get behind on your bills and your credit hits a tank, and what happens then down the road if they use credit to do everything these days. It's not just buy a house or just buy a car. Sometimes it's even to get the job that you're trying to get that pays better. They're checking your credit, for example. So I just think the downstream effects, I don't think a lot of times people even have the wherewithal to think about it, but that's what this is going to look like, or can look like down the road. Are we able to create that legacy that we need for ourselves, for our families, for whoever? So
yeah. And I think that's so connected too, because it's obviously the way that it was planned, but then you also have this repeal of, like, the social services that should be in place, right? That to For particularly those of us who, have paid into those systems and taxes and, and not having that safe place to land that, generations before us did. And I'm not saying it's completely safe. It's not that at all, but that's not even an option either. Right. And so I think that pulls into how many conversations we have about like the community funds and things like that we're having to think more of now than we have it too. And I think that like individualism in our culture and our society, right? I was like, it is so ingrained, right? Because I saw a post the other day that was like, why do we all have a lawnmower? Why do we all have a lawnmower? We only use the lawnmower once every week, or well, Florida every couple of days. But like, why are we not leveraging our resources and our funds in a more community based way that supports all of us? And I think that's the point. Where I was like, yeah, why do all of us have a lawnmower? I mean, not all of us, but you know what I'm saying. We have a house, blah blah blah, and it's the same thing for other things. Why do we all have hair blow dryer? We all use blow dryer every day? No, probably not. And so it's like one of those things of like, how can we be more focused on community to provide that support in this too, in a way that helps us to take action and support each other. And I'm saying that to say that's something that I'm still chewing on, because I was like, oh, that's a really good point. How can we be better? How can we better align our actions to support each other in this space? And I think that's, and it's not a simple question. I'm not saying it like, oh, I'm holier than that, I figured it out. I have not. But that's one of the things that's kind of like sitting with me of like, how can we do this better and be for each other and have that community support when you don't got it, right?
Yeah, I think that that's kind of my answer as well. Is what we're not talking about is we've been in these workplaces forever, these predominantly white controlled organizations and firms forever, in one way or the other. One, the plantation is the corporation, right? Or the corporate space. So we're still experiencing a lot of the weathering. We're still experiencing a lot of the microaggression. We're still experiencing the physical deterioration. We're still experiencing the humiliation. It's quite possible, and I would say probable, that we're just not going to be able to thrive there ever, ever. So really what we're not talking about is, what does it truly mean to practically and pragmatically pour into these Black women-owned businesses, especially Black women that are creating Black women-centered organizations. Because just because you're a Black woman-owned business does not mean that you're a Black woman-centered business, right? So how do we as a collective, like gather information on those Black women that are doing integral work, that are creating spaces truly for us to work and thrive? And then what does it mean for us to actually show up with money? Not just thoughts, prayers, and now laters. I'm talking about money. We need money, because obviously y'all saw what happened with the Fearless Fund. We can't rely on other people to sustain our businesses. We have to rely on the sisterhood.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really, I think that's the one thing that's keeping me up at night. You feel helpless. So how can you do more when you don't have any resources, where you're holding things together with bubble gum and scotch tape, as they would say? And the bottom line is that I think right now, as a Black community as a whole, we're on the precipice. And we're on the precipice where we need to make a decision. Are we going to keep rah, rah, rah? Or are we just going to say, you know what, later for the bullshit, and let's actually turn inwards and start supporting each other meaningfully? This past weekend, I got the chance to have a conversation with another Black woman, and we were just kind of having a conversation, literally we're having tea at, in her space, and just having a conversation about, this is how they used to do it back in the day when things, were hitting the fan. And let's be clear, they had it worse than we did. And they still found a way to get together, mobilize, and say, how are we going to pool our dollars together and really start being more active within our own communities? When you think about how quickly the dollar leaves the Black community compared to every other community, Everywhere else, it's days, weeks, months. For us, it's hours. Hours. That means the moment we get the dollars, we're already handing it off to the Asian beauty supply, to the white organizations where we get our groceries from. Everything that we don't have any ownership in. Even the fact that on LinkedIn, as Black creatives, we get the hell suppressed out of us. Like, if we can get 2 or 3 impressions, it's a good day. Because at the end of the day, the systems that are created by those of us that don't look like us are not designed with us in mind. And that is everywhere. And, even though it's sobering to say, corporate America was never designed for us. We weren't even supposed to survive the plantation. Let's be clear about that. So that's number one. And so how can you expect a system that was never designed for us in mind to actually be something that we can turn around? I think we are at a point where we need to decide. It's already been hundreds, like 400 plus years is enough time for us to figure out this is how it is. This is just the reality of it. So what are we going to do about it? When are we going to say, not just Target, but Amazon, Whole Foods, like we need to start taking those dollars. And I say that as someone who a lot of her livelihood comes from these white-owned spaces. But until we can collectively say no more, those of us who are trying to do the work can't even get out of the spaces, because that unfortunately is the only space available for us. So we have to, this is reckoning time. And I really, really believe that until we collectively realize this is like a group project, like for all of us, like the worst, but the most important group project of our lives. And until we recognize that and start coming together, and not be like, I'm gonna get mines and you figure it out for yourself. Good luck to you. This is gonna continue. Like, the erosion of unemployment for Black women is going to continue. I've heard from so many women who don't have work, who are on the verge of eviction, who are just one bill away from losing everything. And our spending power is astronomical, guys. Our spending power is in the trillions, trillions. Why are we not taking that money and pouring it back to where it belongs? That's what keeps me up at night. I can't figure it out. If we can figure that out, we be good.
Well, I think, at least for me, I feel like I've seen, I can't wholly say that I've been fully aware, so much of this. I talk about the experience that I have about, being primarily raised, my mom's family was from Bermuda, right? And going through a large portion of my life without really understanding Black American experience, even though, my dad came from, that's his experience, right? Eatonville is one of the first all Black municipalities in the United States, or the first. And so it's kind of that dynamic of really understanding the shifts and the changes. But I will say, at least for me, I've seen so much more than I've seen, at least for me, so much solidarity in this. And I think it's one of those things to say, like, how can we keep going, right? Like, okay, it's Walmart today. Is it Dollar General tomorrow? What is it? And I also think, like, so much of this has come from the idea that Black excellence, like, eliminates grace, right? And I think that's part of this dynamic, right? Where we are expecting these Black-owned apps and these Black-owned businesses and everything else to operate and function and look like and be, the convenience, I should say, of these organizations and companies that have had years of free labor, right? Too, on top of that, our free labor, by the way, to thrive. And for us, we are not going to talk about underpaying us now too, right? So that's, is it still partially free? Okay. We don't have time for that. But I'm just saying, it's like, we have this, like, scale, and we have this evaluation of, like, what our values are. And I think it's a piece of that is, like, I think so much of us woke up and said, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I was like, I don't know who's still shopping at Walmart in January. I don't remember the last time I gave Walmart some money, unless I really had to go. There's only Walmart and I'm in a 3-hour radius. You know what I'm saying? So I love that in some ways. I feel like some of us are catching up, but I also think it's that dynamic too of saying catching up to saying where are we spending our dollars, but also to understand that we do have to give Black-owned businesses some grace. And I'm not saying, we see stuff. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we're signing everything.
No, seriously.
Right?
Like, that's important.
It's related to that conversation of not all skin folk or skin folk. And so there's that dynamics in that. But I think the more that we can say, hey, I'm trying to work and build this together, and really see what that looks like. And I think about, from a historical standpoint, where I look at Eatonville, right? And we have all this gentrification, right around Eatonville, right? And some even pushing in, but like culture is still there, right? And so how can we come together to preserve that, to work with each other, to be a part of each other's story? And I love that we're doing some of that here today. Okay. Yeah. But it's just this dynamic of like, where is it? What is really the issue? How do we honor and celebrate what we have done, and how do we do it better next? And I think that part is a big issue in this, and not trying to assimilate anymore, right? To your point, we tried enough, right? We have tried enough.
Yeah, no, and I think I just want to really I'm gonna harp on it a little bit more what you said, because I think that's so important. And like, I'll use myself as an example. I'm independent publisher, but also an author, and that's great. But when you think about the publishing space, the biggest game in town is Amazon. They're 100% monopoly. They're like Hydra, tentacles everywhere. You cannot publish a book and not have it on Amazon. Like, that's nearly impossible, because that is where the majority of the market is. Does that mean that that's where I'm going to be? No, it's just that unfortunately it's part of playing the game. It's literally part of playing the game. But until we make, and it's not just like little pockets here and there, until we make a deliberate and concerted effort, like as a unit, to actually say we are going to divest our dollars over here so we can establish those facilities, whatever those places, the next Amazon, whatever the case is, until we can do that and do that at scale. And it's not, it's unrealistic to think that, okay, well, I'm a, roll out of Amazon tomorrow. Unfortunately, that it's not practical for a lot of small business owners, and I'm not giving them a pass. Like, when I tell you I'm working to get the hell up out of Amazon, y'all just don't even know. But because of the way that they are so enmeshed into the back end of publishing, meaning that they have like some established deals with the distributing companies, to the point that there's almost nowhere that publishing doesn't go that Amazon doesn't touch. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not impossible, but it means that, like Natasha was saying, coins, that is, money doesn't grow on trees. Like, in order to make that a major and a concerted movement, you would have to do something. Like, it would require a lot of financial resources. That is why you now see that Amazon accepts Snap. Why do you think they do that? Like, they literally, like, this is all 100% by design. So I think that is so valuable to say, because I have had people say to me, well, unfortunately, your book is on Amazon, so I won't be buying it. Okay. What can I say? I mean, I respect that. It's also on Barnes and Noble and a bunch of other places, but all right. But the bottom line is, it's so important to give small business owners grace, because like, sometimes, like, the biggest paycheck is coming from those places, and it's not because we want that to be the case. It's just because it's basically, let me just be very clear. Every part of what we do and touch is really tainted. All right. So whether it's Starbucks, whatever Starbucks coffee you drink, they trifling too. Whether you whatever it is one, they just as trifling as Amazon. You saw all them people, the men that were lined up behind Trump inauguration day. Don't play games with me. If you got Gmail, get rid of your Gmail too. Okay. Like, let's
your iPhone. Your iPhone.
I'm just saying, like, look, it's fruit of the poisonous tree. But unfortunately, because we live in reality, we gotta play the game. And it's just like corporate America. Corporate America is trash. We all know that. Like, it is literally steeped in racism. But we need to get paid. So we deal with the devil that we know until we can collectively say no more and actually show up with dollars, okay? And then you don't have places like the Baptist Church taking $300K. Yes, I'm still getting the side eye, but I'm just saying, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like it is so baked into the fabric of everything we do that you have institutions like one of the biggest Baptist churches saying, we're going to take your dollars too. So what do you think the small business owners are having to do? Who don't even see a fraction of that money. I'm shutting up now.
I wanted to close. So there's a couple things because I know that I know for sure based on just comments and thoughts that there are Black. I know we're all in the career space in some way, shape, or form, right? So I do want to give an opportunity to say, like, hey, if you're in this place right now, you've been impacted by layoffs, like for each of us to give one tip or something that we feel like would be really helpful based on our expertise. But I do want to say that I know with that, like, it feels really hard to go up against Amazon. It feels really hard to go up against a Walmart or whatever, right? But I think at the end of the day, like, every dollar matters. And so if you're like, I live in rural America, I'm out here. I try my very hardest not to go to that Dollar General, which is literally the only store in this little area, right? I got to drive into the next town to get that. But I'm still making my best effort to reduce and minimize that. And so we drive our behinds over an hour to go to Costco, right? And I'm not saying that it's always easy or hard. And right, Costco, right? We know the issue, right? Costco's not Black owned, but we know that they're doing better than a lot of the other places. And I think even if it feels like from a massive scale that this is really hard to do, like take one purchase back, right? Take just a little bit, right? And see and save one more dollar or redirect that additional dollar. And so I want to encourage you to say, like, we know we have the systems, but we do have little ways to resist, even if it doesn't feel big, right? And I think that seeing things at like Target, right, means that those little actions that one person can really make a difference. And so I just want to encourage you all for that. In other words, we're not resolving it all tonight, but we're gonna do a really good job. So there's been plenty of comments in the chat. And so I think the issue, at least for me, from what I have seen, right, is that I think for so many of us, like exiting or being fired or terminated or whatever, you're like, okay, well, there's lots of, contract work, lots of gig economy. And like what I'm actually seeing right now is like they are there, but it's not as abundant, right? It's not as available. And I think that has been causing even more issues for us to have a soft-ish landing from some of those things. And then also what Patrice was saying about not having those resources. So if there were something that you could say that might really help the Black women on the call today that have not been able to find employment for a while or have been laid off, what would you say? Sorry, I know that's not an easy question, but I know that, I think it's needed for us to kind of try and help and answer that just a little bit.
I think, I was talking to someone before I got on the call, and I think sometimes because we're so deep in, it's hard to look out, right? Especially if you've been laid off, right? There's so many things probably coming at you, let alone your own turmoil, right? Your own internal turmoil. So there's a part of us, and I don't like this word, that is resilient. And when I say resilient, it's not like pretend like it's not happening. I mean, what is it that you have that you can use? I'm not saying go back to school. I'm not saying go flip hamburgers. No shade to flipping hamburgers if that's what you're doing. But for example, if I'm in consulting, like I know how to sell something, or I know how to teach somebody how to do something. So what are the core skills that you're using in this job or in that previous job that you've been laid off of that you can I'm going to say repackage and sell, right? And when I say sell, I just mean using what you have. So the lady that I was talking to was saying how, she hasn't been laid off, but her work environment is just atrocious. I mean, but she's like, it pays 48,000 and it's 40,000 more than she would have. So it's not the greatest salary, but it's what she got, right? So she's like, what should I do? And she has some things in her past that stunt her from being able to get a regular, better paying job. So she was saying that she had felt really backed up against the corner. And so what she decided to do was she found a way that like she would sell something. Let's say she rented houses for a particular company. Instead of renting the houses, let's say for $1,000, she'd rent them for 12, so she would make money on the spread, right? And I'm not saying do anything illegal. All I'm saying is we can be really creative. Be like, okay, if I can't get a job one way, I can get a job another, and afford yourself the grace to be able to do that, because a lot of times when we're really just tapped out, we can't even think straight to come up with those things. So I think it's relying on what you already know how to do. And if you are just so full that you can't do that, tapping into a community like this is a great place to do it. Because one of the things that I was sharing with her is that, for example, like the spread is great, but you're still dependent, right, on this toxic source. Listen, I'm doing the same thing. So I ain't telling her to leave nobody's job. Right. So I understand I'm working in this toxic space. So I'm saying to her, don't just leave that space, but how can you make that make sense? Can you go out and recreate this business? Are there other offshoots so that you can use one thing to get to the other? And so you always have that exit plan. So yes, use what you have, but also use it and create the fund like Natasha was talking about, so you can be your authentic self and build what your exit plan looks like. And it's not necessarily going back to anybody's school, getting another certification, doing something where for sure you're not going to be able to make the resources that you need to move forward. So I hope that's helpful.
Super. Co-signing that. I think in to put it brief, because I think you said it perfectly, but I think we sometimes limit ourselves, right? Because we get stuck in the like, I needed this job, or I needed this way of getting paid, and that is what I'm used to. And so it's like, actually open it up, right? Like if it actually comes from a mindset of lack, which is kind of my point that I'm going to get to feel like this is your only option, right? If you take a step back and you say, I know it's hard, I know I've got a lot going on, but if I take a step back and I say, what are my options? It gives you a lot more ways through. And so I would say, please think abundantly of what, don't just think about what you've done or what what your parents did or what is normal. Think about what your options are based on your skill set. So I love that, Patrice. The other
and
thing,
also talk about what you've done, self-promote, right? Talk about, you don't have to have a PMP, a master's degree, or 30 more letters behind your name. Like, talk about the way that you were able to, I don't know, teach people something or have good patient outcomes. You can speak about your success in a way that you big yourself up. So when I was job hopping, they'd be like, well, why did you stay? I said, because they wanted me. They needed what I had. Ain't nobody told me that. And I was shaking on the inside the first few times I said it. But then that muscle, right? The more you say it, you're like, yeah. And then I could put proof points behind what I was talking about. So to use that same job to talk about the goodness that you did there. To self-promote as you're launching whatever it is that you're doing. Don't wait for anybody to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself.
Yeah, I'll add to this, and speaking of self promotion, because I sure as hell didn't mention that I'm actually a life and career coach. Let's start there.
Go ahead. That's what we talk about, Natasha. Go to the website. Let me bring up the QR code.
Been a long damn day. Anyway, all roads lead to relationships. To be honest, I think people underestimate that the resume is the car, the relationship is the gas. You're not going anywhere. I mean, the amount of resumes, the amount of applications I used to get sometimes for one job, I was sifting through hundreds of resumes, hundreds of applications. And we were trying to get 3 to 5 good people in front of the hiring manager. Imagine that you're a recruiter, you get 200 applications, you're trying to get 5 good people to the hiring manager, right? So people I think it's important to put out those odds, because in this economy is trash. I've never seen anything like it. The amount of people that have bombarded me in my LinkedIn DMs asking me to forward that. I'm still trying to catch up, and I'm still trying to like figure out how to reconnect with all these people. with this competitive economy, you got to go down to you got to get to the people that love you down. I'm talking about the people that know you and know your brilliance. I'm not talking about, I mean, I'm not even talking about me. You reach out to me, there's not really much I can say. If Mercedes reaches out to me and I don't know her, all I could really, in full integrity, all I could really say to somebody is say, hey, I think she's great. You know, I've never really worked directly with her, but I think she's great based off of what. But if I talk about Nicole, if I talk about somebody that I've known for years, I know their work product, I know what they do, I know what their results. I'm gonna tell you right up, like straight up, Nicole was able to increase membership by 35%. There is nobody that I would trust this project with more than Nicole because I worked directly with her. So I would call your top 20 people, and I know it's hard because we hate asking for help. And we hate reaching out to the people that we know and saying, God damn it, I need some help. But you're going to have to ask for some help. And that means being vulnerable. And that means being transparent. And that may even mean using that fancy little LinkedIn profile that you got and actually put in a post and saying, you know what? I'm looking for this type of job. This is my skill set. This is what I'm good at. This is what my superpower is. Because trust me, I've seen 300 people show up on those posts. I'd be surprised if somebody didn't walk away with at least a lead or two.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'll just go really quickly because I was gonna say that I think a lot of times we have, and I was kind of going to the mindset thing. 10 out of 10, Natasha too. But I feel like sometimes we do get in our own way, right? And I think that was what Natasha was saying about like, don't get focused on those numbers all the time. Like you are the secret sauce, you are the piece, you are the brilliance in this. And so I love my clients. I love my community. Y'all are beautiful people. Y'all will come to me and tell me you can't find a job. Y'all will tell me that every time you get denied is because you're overqualified. Okay, so listen, where are you looking? Okay, are you settling? Okay, because you think, oh, okay, it'll be faster if I just go get a job that feels like settling. Actually, no. Actually, no. That's your issue here. And so I'm not saying this because it can when I say this, it can kind of a little triggering, right? It can sound like, oh, it's a little victim blame. I'm not blaming you for this market. I'm telling you to walk in your authority and your power and all of your expertise and go for the job that you know that you deserve. If you know that you deserve a director level role, go for it, right? Because then you're perfectly aligned for that versus people wondering why you're applying for a manager role or an individual contributor role when you should be here. So do not allow the lack out there to lead you to make decisions and behaviors out of lack, right? Because you could actually get there faster because it's more aligned. And I'm not talking about no woo-woo manifestation thing. I'm talking about from a recruitment standpoint. Okay, I got a checklist. I got your resume. I got over here. So keep in mind, and I think that's some of the reasons as to why we'll always have those conversations about Black women say, oh, I'm underpaid or I'm under this. And I was like, I love that, Tiffany, right? Like, okay, well, ask for the case. You know how many times I have to ask for a promotion, right? The first time I had to ask for a promotion, it was a paper I got denied. And I see a lot of people like, oh, I got denied, I can't do it. And you know what I did? I got pissed off. Everybody knows I was upset. And then they were like, so you want to talk about, I want to talk about my raise. Okay, I want to talk about my raise, right? And it was a different dynamic of me showing up and really knowing my worth and advocating for that, right? But you can't do that out of a mindset of saying, I'm just lucky enough to have this job, right? They're lucky enough to have you. I know what y'all do, Black women. I know what y'all do when y'all go into those workplaces. Y'all do some amazing stuff. Okay. And so I just want you to come out of this space of really saying, hey, I'm just trying to find anything. I'm just trying to do something. Like go for it. Go for what you want. And I think it aligns more, right? Because you've been playing around over there. Play hard in the paint. Go big or go home. Okay. All right, Nicole. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just wanted to add that stop looking on LinkedIn. I'm gonna say it again. Stop looking on LinkedIn. None of the jobs that I've gotten have been through LinkedIn. Zero. And the reason behind that is because there's too many people applying on LinkedIn. It is like uber saturated. LinkedIn is not the way. Y'all use Google as your friend. Monster jobs is still a thing. Craigslist will find you some jobs. My
Mm.
first
Wait,
publishing
wait,
job.
wait a minute. We're not trying to have anybody
Yeah,
get
look,
kidnapped.
no, I'm just saying. I'm
No,
trying to give
yeah.
you some stuff that'll work for you today.
Mm-hmm.
I got my first internship turned senior editor at a publishing company from Craigslist. Okay. There's some real stuff out there. I've talked about this before. Rat Race Rebellion is another good one. It is 100% work from home. I have lost track of the number of jobs I've gotten from there and contracts and clients. So this is like concrete stuff you can do tomorrow. They've got customer service stuff. They've got all of the things. If you are a writer, an editor, there is a dearth of jobs out there. Hook up with a staffing agency. Staffing agencies are your friend, okay? They will take your resume as it is. Don't play small. Bring all of that brilliance on your resume and get your recruiter. And remember, I've said this before, you are the talent.
Yep.
They're a talent agency. You know what that makes you? The talent. You know what that means? You the shit. Yeah,
They
walk
need
in
you.
there like you are. Yeah. So don't and you can ask for the rate that you're looking for. They will actually screen for jobs in your pay range. Okay. Look for, and another thing that I want to say, because we talked about mindset, also please also recognize that there's a difference between the right now and the long term. Okay. There's a lot of folks that out here getting big mad because like, oh, I got this job and they trying to play in my face and I was unemployed for a year, but I'm not going to go for that. So I'm going to tell her exactly what it is and then be unemployed tomorrow. The long game. I need us, please come closer. I need all of us to understand that there's a game being played and we need to play it better, smarter, faster. You already know what it is. So don't get the lay of the land first, okay? Recognize that this is just a job for right now. If you got the offer in your hand and you've been waiting 6 months, don't let Becky or whomever,
Talk you out your shit.
Not
like
Becky.
just like get you the bag is what I'm saying. You think everybody I work with I like? No, but I get to the bag, and that's what it's about. So I'm not checking for them because I have an end goal in mind.
Yeah.
Always keep the end goal in mind. Okay, get your bag today. Don't worry about those fools. All they want to do is push you out of your goal. That's all they're there for. Stop letting them play in your face to the point that you lose your job that you just got after being unemployed for a year. That's happening too often right now. Like I'm hearing that so often, or maybe it's a K less than what you was asking for. You really gonna leave that money on the table for 1K? Ma'am, no, let's not do that. Let's please, I beg of you, let's be smarter because they out here being trifling. Just pure trifling. So I need us to be smarter and to outwit them at their own game. And we can, but if we go in with the attitude, and look, sometimes it's just the face. Sometimes we gotta fix our face. And we can be on the inside, but sometimes we just gotta smile. We just gotta smile through it sometimes. And think what we want to think and want to say on the inside. Just on the inside. It's just what I'm saying. There's too many people losing jobs off of just something real simple, and that's all they was trying to do in the first place. Because at the end of the day, they're looking for a reason. The only time that you see Bumshrika Johnson come out to play, that's my alter ego. She's Johnson, which is in corporate.
Wait a minute. You got three?
Yeah. So Bumshrika
Nobody
Johnson,
told
she's
me
my alter
nothing.
ego, my corporate alter ego. Okay. She comes out to play when I'm about that life. When I'm just like, you know what, I'm good. I done played out the scenarios, and I'm like, you know what, I could lose this job tomorrow and I'll be all right because I done already called up somebody and I'm good. So if you got that option, if you bout that life in your coin, then do you, boo. But in this climate,
Period.
we cannot.
Now, Nicole, I got a yes and one of your statements, that LinkedIn one. I gotta say, I'm gonna yes and Nicole's statement and say, don't just look on LinkedIn, open up all your avenues, because baby, I got my first work from home job off of LinkedIn. Somebody recruited me off of LinkedIn. I've been working from home since
Right
2013.
here.
I was in that hallway. I was in that hallway having secret conversations like I was about to buy drugs. They delivered me from that hellish ass job where I was working, where I was driving 1 hour one way. Let me tell you something, baby.
This, I'm
Never
just saying,
looking
my
back.
testimony is
This
Natasha's
Right.
testimony.
Yes,
I'm just
and.
saying.
move, boy. And
Yes,
that
and.
came off of that link that came off of LinkedIn. I don't know what I was doing, what I was posting. So branding, remember that. Remember,
Yes,
folks,
that is, yes.
always be. I don't care if you got a job like a notch below CEO. Always be branding. Always, always. You brand yourself like you're the top PR person for Google. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever stop.
Results, impact. Whew. All right. Well, we are over time, and I think we can do this again. So anyway, so y'all know we haven't set any commitments, but I will be hitting y'all up again to see if we could do another one of these and actually finish the other 3 questions that we didn't get to, which I kind of thought we might.
Hey.
You know what? We went in. Okay. And I think it was a really good conversation. And I want to thank each of you for this. This is really lovely. One thing I want to say too, because we have a lot of writers on here, like Nicole and I have a podcast where we talk about all of this in a little bit more detail. So if you want to go watch that podcast, it's really good. We have part 1 on I think it's part 1 on mine. Anyway, part 1,
the sequel.
and then there's a part 2 on Nicole's podcast. So go ahead and check that out. That being said, we're going to wrap up, and I want to be respectful of time, but I also want us to be able to close, and I'll show everybody's QR code and things like that. But I want to thank you all for creating this amazing space, the panelists, the girlies in the chat. This was a great conversation, and I hope we get to do this again. So with that, I'm going to have us close. And so our last question is, we're gonna keep it short, ladies. We're gonna keep it cute and short, okay? I know we could go on for long, but I want to be respectful of everybody's time. That being said, our last prompt is, we were talking about what's next, right? And we want to encourage you all to continue and come with us in the community and continue to talk about what's next. But for each of our panelists today, if you had the mic for a national address, right? This is the address. And let's say it's a national address, and there's one thing that you want every Black woman watching this address to know or remember to help guide us to a more positive future, what would you say? And then also close it out with whatever you want to share with the community for a way to work with you. So I think Natasha, if I'm spreading it out, I think Natasha's first. Yeah.
I would say find safe sisterhood. Find safe Black sisterhood. And about me, I'm at natashawade.com. I'm actually brewing a group coaching experience right now, so stay tuned. Follow me on LinkedIn. Look, it's all about community, so I'm working on a really beautiful, intimate community for all of you.
Very nice.
Beautiful. Patrice, would you like to go next?
For me, I would say they tried to erase us, but we're not done. So use that attempted, because that's what it is, attempted, it's not working, erasure to build. Whether it's community, your next act, a better you, whatever the case might be, build what you want, not just what you need. I think that's really important to keep in mind, because the noise sometimes makes it hard. But you can find me on LinkedIn. I make trouble on there, so just follow me and I'll make you laugh or piss you off in a good way, but you leave with something good. But also my website is careernomad.org, and I'm also building a small community called Career Nomad Noir, where we have conversations just like this. It's small group for us to really get there and talk practically about what our next steps are, whether you're in a toxic environment, you've been laid off. So feel free to reach out. I love to connect, and don't forget to network. Your next opportunity, not necessarily on LinkedIn, is through connection, like Natasha said. So network. That's it.
Nicole.
All right, y'all. So what I'm going to say to y'all, I'm going to borrow from my last podcast episode, is that there is a difference between differentiation and distinguishing. And like this blessed my spirit, so I had to share it with y'all. I need all of y'all to know that there's only one you, like period, point blank. And you're gonna sit there and say, well, why should I do this? All these other people are doing it already. They're not you, okay? Okay, like Mercedes said earlier, and this I said this on my podcast. I'm like, they can't steal the secret sauce because I am the sauce. It's me. And so I say that to all of you. You are the sauce. Nobody can do it like you. You have a specific, a unique lens and something brilliant you bring to the table. Stop playing in your own face. Stop playing in your own face. That's all I'm saying. I mean, y'all see, I got the book out here. I'm about to be on the New York Times bestseller list. Good Morning America. We're gonna do the road show
all the things
and speaking it. Okay. So y'all gonna be like, oh my God, I knew her when. Yes, because I'm that girl.
yes.
Period, point blank. And you can find me at NicolasPalmer.com and on LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn. I live on LinkedIn. Don't tell my boss, but I live on LinkedIn.
Hayesies.
I think we all live on LinkedIn. So go ahead. So I will say this as we wrap up, make sure you follow each of the panelists today. Make sure you get connected. I think what we've heard today is that community is so important. And that, you could have connected with one of us in a certain way, shape, or form. So build the connection, reach out, and get plugged into whichever community and whichever way feels most aligned to you that makes sense. But again, I do want to encourage you to join me in the Career Love community. So my mission and my goal in this life, and I hope many more in the future, is to support Black women who are building a career in business that really feels like alignment, that really feels like Black woman bliss. And that is my entire thing. And so if you want to join me in the Career Love community, there's a QR code here. You can go to my profile. You can go to the link in the bio. All of our links are there, by the way, but you're going to get them, okay? And so you can join the free Career Love community and continue on with this conversation. But if you're somebody that you're like, I do want guidance with resume writing, with interviewing, with building a business, with getting clear about what my purpose and my passion is and really shifting my mindset, then you can go ahead and become a full career community member, Career Love community member, and that will be on the same page there. So with all of that being said, I'm expressing so much gratitude to the ladies. Oh my gosh, my cup is all the way full.
Thank you.
Oh my
God. All together, right? Look, I'm gonna do it like the kids. This is what the kids say.
Good
job. Good job.
Well, you got to do this one.
Oh, that's a new one. Wait.
It's a little hard.
Practice.
You got to get on TikTok.
No, right? This is like the Tamika dance. I can't do this. I need to learn.
Not too cool for me.
Right?
Lord, oh my God.
This is amazing, though. Thank you. Thank you all for this.
Thanks everyone for coming. I'm so appreciated. And we will, I'm sure stay tuned for more.
I think we don't have a part 2, but I don't know about everybody else because I kept y'all way late, but that's okay. Some people pass their bedtime. I'm not going to say who. I said I wasn't going to say who. Now, why did you make the face?
Whoops. This was
amazing.
Bye,
Bye.
All right. Take care.
Bye.